We're going to be doing scatter plots. And what is a scatter plot? Well, as you can imagine, it's a bunch of points that are scattered around a graph. We spend a lot of times on lines, so for today we're going to look at whether or not you can draw a line that fits those points and what that line means. Fortunately, we're really comfortable with the negative and positive slopes, so it shouldn't be an issue. We've done that a lot. That's what a scatter plot is. Please don't do that. It's when you plot a bunch of points and you figure out how the line fits the graph. Okay? So first definition you need to learn is positive correlation. Now today we're not doing practical examples, but when you guys come back on Tuesday we will. It'll make a little bit more sense. I'll try to come up with some practical examples today just to write down so that it has some application to it. So positive correlation means that as x goes up, y also goes up. So you got two ups, that's why we call it positive. It's going to have a positive slope, the line of best fit. We'll talk about line of best fit in a second. But as you can imagine, if you have a bunch of points on the graph, what's the best line you can draw that hits most of those points or falls within most of those points? So I'll get you guys the worksheet and I'll get your ruler as well. Right off the bat, let's talk about some positive correlations as some examples. Like I said, we won't do any practical examples today with charts, but we will when we come back on Tuesday. So in the real world, what goes up as something else goes up? Do what? Oh no, I'm talking about in the real world. Not the actual definition. Second. The more you study, your grades will go up. Some more than others. Who else had another one?
Increased error.
The better you work and money.
There you go.
The more you work, the more money is what she was trying to say.
I know. Well,
So listen, guys, that's a positive. That's a positive correlation. Work and money have positive correlation. The more you work, the more money you make. That is true, for sure. Even if you make less than somebody else, you're still going to get more money the more you work. Talking about science, what happens when temperature goes up? What happens to pressure?
Goes down. Goes up.
Pressure goes up. They have a positive correlation. The reason I thought about that is because you mentioned the hot air balloon. So it generates more pressure under the balloon. It causes it to go up when you increase that. There's a lot of different things in the real world where one thing goes up, the other thing goes up. So that's what positive correlation is. Let's talk about negative. Does anybody need to write any of this else down? You can imagine negative is just the opposite. As x goes up, y goes down.
More gas. This is going to be.
Okay, and the line of best fit has a negative slope. So let's try to come up with some examples here.
Price of gas. Price of gas increases more. Less people use it.
Ooh, okay. So as gas prices go up, I guess that's generally true. It depends. Like, if it's like on average, obviously people aren't going to pay as much. They're not going to drive as much because they can't afford it. As gas prices go up, the amount that people drive or how much gas they purchase is going to go down. That's a great example. What else goes down as something else goes up?
Great.
Is if you're driving in a car or if you're... Okay, so as time increases, if the car is slowing down, okay, that'd be negative correlation. Okay? You might still be going forward, but if your speed's slowing down, that's negative. And we have,
A neutral.
which is no correlation. Make sure you write this down. There are two possibilities for no correlation. Either there is no line of best fit, or it's horizontal. And I'll talk about why a horizontal line would be no correlation. Now, coming up with practical examples for this is going to be a little bit easier because there's a lot of things that don't correlate with each other.
Wait, so what is like the word for this one?
No correlation.
That old saying,
As population goes up, the amount of oxygen in the air would stay the same, right? It wouldn't affect it. I mean, you might think, okay, more people's breathing, but no, it won't. Okay, it's 21% oxygen in the air. Example 2.
Resources. Yep.
Shh. As temperature goes up, the number of pets you have is going to stay the same, right? There's a lot of things that you could pick where one doesn't affect the other, and that just means no correlation. And that one would stay constant, right? So if you were to draw a line on a graph, it doesn't matter what the temperature is. Let's say you have 3 pets, so it's going to be 3, and it would be a horizontal line.
It depends on what temperature is